We're committed to preserving the voices that shape our community. We know people have short memories, and as long as this Black Talk radio station is on the air, we will not let Altadena be forgotten. We are honored to announce that the Altadena Historical Society will officially archive our recent town hall alongside every episode of Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr. This is the show of record, the definitive source for tracking Altadena's roots, resilience, recovery, and reunion. These stories will now live on for students, scholars, researchers, and journalists seeking truth and legacy in the months and years to come. Because history isn't just made, it's honored, it's recorded, and it's passed forward. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
How many more years will we see you play?
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Something I'll sit down with my family, my wife, and my support group and kind of just talk through it and see what happens, and then just have a conversation with myself on how long I want to continue to play. I don't know the answer to that right now, to be honest.
Hey, I don't like that. KBLA Talk 1580, where we always have a lot to talk about. Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA, in the heart of Los Angeles. Welcome to your daily fix of what's trending in the world of entertainment. You probably know by now that I am not Jill Munroe. My name is Ray Richardson. I'm your sports authority here at KBLA. I'm the voice you hear all day long on KBLA with the Sports Minute, and on Saturday night with a show we call Out of Bounds. It's a 1-hour talk show where we deliver some flavor to the world of sports. Jill is on an assignment away today. I've been asked to come off the bench today and fill in for her for the next 60 minutes. It's an honor to do that. Jill does such a wonderful job with this show. We will do our best to uphold the high standards that she has set. You can catch KBLA on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Tell your people outside of LA they can listen online at KBLA1580.com or on our app to join the conversation, and we have a lot of ground to cover today. Here's our number, 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to give you a special mix of sports and entertainment. At the top of the show, you heard LeBron James indicating that he is not sure what he wants to do about next season. The Lakers are done in the first round for the second straight year. LeBron said he has a lot to think about. We'll get into some of those thoughts later in the show, including more comments from LeBron on some transition issues he wanted to talk about that the Lakers had after trading for Luka Doncic. Stay around for that. Folks are still buzzing about Shedeur Sanders' free fall in the NFL draft last weekend. I've got some inside information, and I mean it's inside, on some meetings that Sanders had with a couple of NFL teams. Some very specific topics came up in the conversations that may have triggered his free fall. We'll get into that later on, I promise. There's some Clippers talk we need to get to. They won last night. Game 7 is tomorrow in Denver. And here's a quick thought for you right now. Which former athletes became the best actors in Hollywood, on TV or in the movies? Drop your thoughts in our YouTube chat. We'll talk about more of that later on in the show as well. Before we get to all that, a couple of quick headlines for you. Beyonce is in town, and she's making a lot of people a lot of money these days with local businesses in Inglewood and surrounding areas. She's doing 5 nights on her Cowboy Carter tour at SoFi Stadium. Day 2 was last night. When she was here for her 3-day Renaissance tour in 2023, the local economy grossed more than $45.5 million. With the extra days on this tour, Local businesses are projecting that number to double or triple. Folks from around the world have descended on Inglewood and Southern California to see Queen Bee. Remember the hit TV show Living Single? Two of the stars from that great 90s show, Erica Alexander and Kim Coles, have partnered with Heartbeat to do a podcast series called Reliving Single. Reliving Single is what it's called. Kevin Hart is producing the series. The premiere drops Wednesday, May 7th. Check your local listings wherever you access your podcast content. And in case you did not hear this, actor Terrence Howard confirmed in a podcast with Bill Mayer that he turned down a role to play Marvin Gaye. Howard said he was uncomfortable with potential scenes that required him to kiss a man. Think about that. Let me repeat that. Howard said he was uncomfortable with a potential scene, maybe multiple scenes, that required him that he would have to kiss a man. It's been reported in many circles for years that Marvin was bisexual. Howard said he's not homophobic, but he said, and I quote, "I could not surrender myself to a place that I don't understand," end quote. Howard's decision generated a lot of chatter online. How do you feel about that? You can drop a note in our YouTube chat or hit us up right now at 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. In for Jill Munroe, I'm Ray Richardson. When we come forward, some more news about LeBron and why Lakers Nation should be a little nervous in the offseason. It's a mix of sports and entertainment right here. I'm Ray Richardson, in for Jill Munroe, right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Disagree without disrespect.
Make your point and keep it pushing.
Let's do this. Listen and learn or talk and teach. Talking and listening around the clock. KBLA Talk 1580. If you missed our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall, the Altadena Eden Fire, 100 Days and Counting, you missed an evening of reverence, reflection, and reality.
You gotta live in the reality, because this is it. Every day, you wake up, is this my life? Don't stay in denial, because yes, it is. Don't stay in bargaining, where you're praying for a miracle, and if it wouldn't have happened, then this is what I would have done. It did.
Our panel participants kept it real. Really real.
I think, number one, it's amazing to me how we ignore systemic racism in our community, and as a people, we've apologized for so much, but when will we stop apologizing for what we have paid for? Because the truth of the matter is, we paid for this.
You can always count on KBLA Talk 1580 to give it to you straight, no chaser. When you love folk, you tell them the truth. Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
Attention. If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out, because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
Yeah, KBLA Talk 1580, where we always have a lot to talk about. As always, broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA, in the heart of Los Angeles. If you're wondering who this strange voice is, good afternoon. I'm Ray Richardson, in for Jill Munroe today. She's away on special assignment. We're going to do our best to try to hold it down with a special mix of sports and entertainment for you on the Entertainment Network today. Phone lines open for you right now at 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. And a quick reminder about our thoughts topic for this evening on this hour. In your opinion, what athlete, pro or college, has made the best transition from the athletic field to Hollywood, either in the movies or on TV? We're going to do a special segment at the end of the show in light of LeBron's comments the other day about he is not sure that he wants to play another season. He doesn't know if he's going to come back for a 23rd season. What a remarkable career he's had. Is just no words to describe it. Whatever he decides to do, if he decides to hang it up, there would be nobody mad at him. There would be nobody crying some tears or crying some blues, because we have enjoyed a remarkable performer for 22 years, and even going back to the days of high school in Akron, Ohio. He was a big-time star back then. So I mentioned that because LeBron has had a lot of entertainment projects himself. He's been in some movies, and he's produced some movies. He's done some projects. So if he does decide to hang it up and retire, he won't have any worried about what's he going to do after basketball. He's already got things lined up. And to be honest with you, he came out here to L.A. from Cleveland. You talk about business decisions. Well, he really typified that. His reasoning was not just to play basketball here. He wanted to get out here and get into the entertainment world, and he made a major splash doing that. Phone lines open for you right now, 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. You can also drop some comments in the YouTube chat. What do you think? Are you nervous? If you're part of Lakers Nation, are you nervous about LeBron saying he is not sure if he wants to play? He needs some time to think about that, and he deserves that respect. Give him some air, give him some space, let him kind of work some things out. But what happens when you lose, and you lose early in the NBA playoffs, and you are no longer in the picture for a championship, it does generate a lot of thoughts and a lot of speculation and some soul searching, as a matter of fact. So we're going to just kind of wait on LeBron's pace on that. But in this clip, in this segment, we're going to talk about some of the dynamics surrounding LeBron and why he may be thinking about stepping down after 22 years. Now, I'm going to get on record right now. I'm in the camp of some folks who really believe that this is it. We may have seen LeBron play his last game Wednesday night when they lost to Minnesota in Game 5. They got took out in 5 games by the T-Wolves. And LeBron did not look good in that last stretch. As a matter of fact, in the last 3 games of the series against Minnesota, he only scored 2 points in those 3 games combined. He really was not a productive player at all. Some of that might be fatigue. Some of that might just be too much wear and tear from the previous 2 games in the series. And also, cannot forget about this, that Game 4. And I really think that Game 4 upset a lot of folks and really set some things in motion. But when J.J. Redick, the Lakers coach, played everybody, I mean just all 5 starters the whole second half, didn't give them one break except for a timeout. When he played those guys the whole second half, that sent some shockwaves, not just through that locker room and not just on that bench, but in that front office as well. Folks were questioning why he did that. And to me, the Lakers were never the same after that. It was pretty much a done deal that Minnesota was going to take them out in the playoffs in the first round. So LeBron has sort of got people a little nervous, and he's talking about what he's got to think about in the next few months or so. But, you know, something else happened today that can really be an impact. If you missed it, LeBron had an MRI exam this morning because he had a collision with Dante DiVincenzo in the fourth quarter Wednesday night. And they discovered that he has a torn medial collateral ligament in his left knee. Now, that injury doesn't require surgery, but it was an injury that was going to knock him down for at least 3 to 6 weeks. So even if the T-Wolves had won Wednesday, he would not have played tonight in Game 6 in Minnesota. He would not have played in Game 7 if they had got back to Game 7 here in L.A. on Sunday or Monday. He would probably have missed the part of the second round if the Lakers had advanced. So we were looking at a situation where he was more hurt than people thought after that collision with DiVincenzo. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack, a lot of stuff to kind of decipher with LeBron's situation. But let me run through a couple of clips for you that LeBron talked about, and we're going to hear from LeBron more than we've ever heard from him on this station in the next few minutes. But he was asked a lot of questions about the Luka Doncic trade, about his career and where his motivation is. Here's the first clip I want to play for you. This is a question in response to what his true feelings were about the Luka Doncic trade and how difficult that situation ended up being for not only him, but for the entire team. Take a listen to what LeBron had to say after the game Wednesday night about what that trade really meant to him and the Lakers franchise.
Yeah, anytime you make an acquisition or a big acquisition in the middle of the season, it's always going to be challenging. Yeah. And not only for me, but for AR and for the rest of the group on how we were playing. I mean, we went from, the ball, wanting to touch the ball in AD's hands, either off pick and rolls or off post ups or off elbow catches. But it started with myself and AR kind of handling the ball handling, and then making sure we got 80 the ball. And the whole, obviously, dynamic changed. When we made the acquisition of Luka to, how can we change our approach to best fit his game, and how can we center our game around his. I think it's always challenging when you make like I said, a big acquisition like that. There were times where we, obviously didn't look so well, a couple games early on. But I think we kind of figured it out, kind of later in the season. The more and more games we had, I still don't think we had enough time to mesh. But for the time that we had, I thought we ended the regular season very well to, be top 3 in the West. And obviously, we know how tough the West is. I thought that was a good test for us. And, we had some challenges, but I think, ultimately having a guy like that is very dynamic for any franchise.
LeBron James talking about the difficulties in transitioning from AD to Luka Doncic. Now, he's not throwing any shade on Luka, but he made it clear that it was a little troubling after you have an offense that's built around Anthony Davis. You're trying to get him touches in that paint area, and then all of a sudden he's not there, and you've got to adjust to a guy who likes to have the ball in his hands. Andy, I saw you shaking your head over them. You look like you disgusted, man. You all right in there? I know you're a Laker fan, but are you okay?
I'm just disappointed, my brother, disappointed.
All right, KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Ray Richardson sitting in for Jill Munroe. Let's go to the phones. KBLA, hello. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and just pick one, man. I'm sorry, I didn't know who was on there. Oh, Morris. Go ahead, Morris. I'm sorry. Ray Richardson, KBLA Talk 1580.
No problem, Ray. Listen, you think that the NFL was afraid of Deion Sanders' influence? Because I understand he was the agent for George Sanders. So you think they were afraid of him, and as a result, first-round draft choice went down to 5th? Okay, because Shedeur lost a whole lot of money. When you go from the first round to the 5th round, you didn't get a whole lot of money. So you think they were afraid of his daddy? Thank you very much, man.
Hey, thanks for the call. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders in our next segment, but that's a good thought to hold on to. There was definitely a lot of you talking about some drama and some scenarios. I got some scenarios to tell you about in some NFL meetings that went down that may have shedded some light on what happened to him. We'll get into that in our next segment. Let's go back to the phones to Eric and Carson. How you doing, Eric? Welcome to KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, Ray. How you doing?
How you doing, man? Thanks for calling.
Sorry to stay on this topic, but I used to watch Deion's Family Playbook, which was a reality show back in 2014. Mm-hmm. So I got to watch Shiloh and Shedeur grow up on TV. And so I kind of feel like I know them, even though I don't. And my question is that I feel like Deion should have allowed his son to stand on his own talent as opposed to being under his dad's wings. Mm-hmm. I'd like to know what you think about that.
That's a great question. And one of the things I've been sort of leaning to in this whole mess is that I thought that Shedeur made the fatal mistake of trying to be too much like his father. And we all know what kind of an athlete Deion was. He was a superior athlete in college at Florida State and also in the NFL, and played some great baseball, too, on top of that. So there's only one or two. Matter of fact, there's only one Deion Sanders. And I just thought Shedeur, and we know Deion is a great father figure. He has raised his sons the way they're supposed to. It's great to see a black man in his sons' lives the way he's been all this time. But some of the confidence, some of the bravado, and some of the, just a little bit of the brashiness that Deion projects has rubbed off on Shedeur maybe in the wrong way. And I thought he misplayed his humility just a little bit more than he should have. He should have played a little bit more. I just thought he carried that card a little bit too often. That, hey, I'm Deion's son, and I want to be like my father in these meetings and these evaluations and these workouts. I thought that came back to bite him in the wrong way at the wrong time. But we're going to get into this a little bit more in our next segment. Thanks for the call, Eric. 1-800-920-1580. That's our number, 1-800-920-1580. And talking about LeBron, we wanted to kind of share that last clip with you about how uneasy it was for him and everybody else to bring Luka Doncic into this system. Now, there's another clip I have for you that really speaks to some of the drama and maybe some of the second guessing that some of the Lakers players may have had when they traded Anthony Davis. I don't think there was any problem getting Luka Doncic in return, but when they traded Anthony Davis, they didn't get anybody to replace him. They didn't have anybody in the middle to sort of anchor their defense and be a rim protector. And of course, AD was a great scorer, is a great scorer, but when they let him go to Dallas, they had nobody of that substance to fill his production, particularly on the defensive end. Now, here's LeBron talking about, he was asked about this question as well, about how difficult was it for the Lakers to play maybe the last 2 or 3 months of the season without a true legitimate center in their lineup. And check out this reaction because it will tell you a lot. Play that clip, Andy.
Just from a physical, taxing standpoint, how tough was that for the last 3.5 months to play that style? And do you feel like that caught up at all in this series?
No comment. I'll never say that because my guy AD said what he needed, and then he was gone the following week. So I got no comment. I put that uniform on every night. I gave everything I had, and that's all that matters.
Andy, you're shaking your head some more. I see you. Now, Ray Richardson in for Jill Munroe on our Sports Mix and Entertainment show today. I'm not trying to laugh at LeBron. I'm laughing with him, but you can tell. You can tell that was a very sensitive subject to talk about how they had to adjust without having a man in the middle for the last 2 or 3 months. And judging by LeBron's reaction, he did not agree with that, all the components of that trade. You can tell. And you know what? No comment says a lot. You might as well not even say anything, but if you say a no comment to somebody, you might as well be getting ready to write a book because that tells you that somebody don't want to talk about something. And LeBron has something to say, but that wasn't the time or the place or the forum to do it. But what he was trying to say was that Anthony Davis and him had went to management a few times during the season that they needed some more help up front so that Anthony Davis could slide to the power forward position and really wreck shop against a lot of NBA defenses and get somebody in the middle to help kind of take some of that inside pressure off AD so that he could probably be more of a free-spirited scorer and just more of a intense rebounder, and he still blocks some shots too. But Anthony Davis had to do everything in the middle as a center, and he wanted to be a power forward. So that reference that LeBron was talking about, that AD went to management to ask them for some help, well, that's a true story. And a week later, Anthony Davis is packing his bags to Dallas, and we know what happened after that. Phone lines open for you right now at 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. A lot of people have had so many mixed reviews about LeBron and how he interacts with the media, but that end of the season press conference there, a lot came out of that, and I'm sure he wished he could have said more, and I know he wanted to say more. There's a lot more in his mind and his thought process about how this season ended. Now, him and AD were tight. There was a point where LeBron said this is going to be Anthony Davis's team. He wanted to take the pressure off himself so that AD can kind of flourish in that role and let LeBron just sort of be his Robin to Batman. And he made that clear to management that it should have been AD's team. And for the most part, it was. It was just unfortunate that Anthony Davis got hurt so much that he never really got a chance to assert himself as the man on this roster. Can you imagine? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be on record with this. If Anthony Davis had stayed healthy, if he could have stayed healthy for most of his career here, we would not be seeing Luka Doncic here. We would not be seeing him. This would not be going down like the way it is. That is a situation that I'm sure LeBron is thinking about. And to be honest, that's going to be on his thought process as well as some other things as well. So Lakers Nation, hold your breath. Kind of keep the smokestacks out there in view, because when that white smoke goes up in the air, we're going to have a decision about whether LeBron is going to stay here or not, or come back for a 23rd season or not. Phone lines open for you right now at 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, some behind-the-scenes insights on a couple of meetings that Shedeur Sanders had with NFL teams that played a role in his free fall in the NFL draft. The conversations regarding scenarios, I repeat the word scenarios, created in these meetings is really eye-opening. In for Jill Munroe, I'm Ray Richardson. It's a special mix of sports and entertainment right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Former Michigan officer Christopher Shore says he feared for his life when he shot Patrick Lyoya during a 2022 traffic stop.
I shot him. Why? I believe that if I hadn't done it at that time, I wasn't going to go home.
Shore, who is white, says he would not have made it home after their struggle over a taser. Lyoya was black. President Trump says he'll revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status, calling it, quote, what they deserve, end quote. It follows a White House push and funding freeze tied to Trump's stance against DEI programs. In a lawsuit against the Rankin County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office over the 2023 beating of two black men by the, quote, goon squad, end quote, has been settled. Eddie Parker and Michael Jenkins dropped their $400 million suit after accepting a $2.5 million deal. The 6 deputies involved are now in prison. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Carson on the 110 southbound coming up on the 405. It's the 3 left lanes that are blocked due to a crash. Big delays are just crawling coming off of the 91 freeway. Diamond Bar, it's a wreck. 57 northbound just past the 60. It's the right lane blocked with a slow drive away from Brea Canyon Road. Let's also take a look at La Crescenta. This ongoing investigation, 210 eastbound at the 2. Only the left lane is open and delays are stacking up away from Latuna Canyon Road. Fingers crossed, Highway Patrol is aiming for 7 o'clock this evening to have all lanes reopened, but that could be extended or it could be slightly shorter.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year and their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
If the Lakers had defeated Minnesota Wednesday night in Game 5, they would not have had LeBron James for Game 6 tonight in Minneapolis. NBA sources said an MRI exam Friday morning revealed that LeBron suffered a grade 2 medial collateral sprain in his left knee Wednesday night. The injury does not require surgery, but recovery time is generally 3 to 6 weeks. The 40-year-old LeBron would have missed the rest of the series against Minnesota and part of the second round had the Lakers advanced. The injury would have snapped LeBron's streak of 292 consecutive playoff games, the longest in NBA history. LeBron was injured with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter when he collided with Minnesota forward Dante DiVincenzo. LeBron fell to the floor in pain and limped to the bench. He went back into the game about a minute later. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
When the flames subside, who ensures that the stories endure? At KBLA Talk 1580, we're committed to preserving the voices that shape our community. We know people have short memories, and as long as this Black Talk radio station is on the air, we will not let Altadena be forgotten. We are honored to announce that the Altadena Historical Society will officially archive our recent town hall, alongside every episode of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This is the show of record, the definitive source for tracking Altadena's roots, resilience, recovery, and reunion. These stories will now live on for students, scholars, researchers, and journalists seeking truth and legacy in the months and years to come. Because history isn't just made, it's honored, it's recorded, and it's passed forward. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue. But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. Aha! So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Live from Leimert Park, USA.
The cultural mecca of Black Los Angeles.
Broadcasting from historic Crenshaw Boulevard. We are unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, where we always have a lot to talk about and sing about sometimes. We broadcast live from Leimert Park, USA, in the heart of Los Angeles. And if you are just joining us and you hear a strange and different voice, my name is Ray Richardson. I'm the sports authority for KBLA Talk 1580. Sitting in for Jill Munroe tonight. She's away on special assignment. We're going to hold it down for her. She'll be back with all of you on Monday. And I know a lot of you have been reaching out, asking about it. She's fine. She just has something going on today. But she'll be back with you on Monday at 6 o'clock to 7 right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Hey, we're in the midst of talking about a little bit more about the Shedeur Sanders drama that everybody around the nation, even non-sports people, got involved in this discussion because they were just so flabbergasted and just in amazement about how a guy who could be rated so high and had so many accolades as a collegiate football player just drop off the radar almost. And you know what? As I watched the draft, I almost thought that he wasn't going to get drafted. I thought if he gets past the 5th round, it would have been better for him just to try to be a free agent and go to the best team that makes the best offer. Let me play a little clip for you right quick. Shedeur Sanders finally got drafted by the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round, and he got a chance to talk on a conference call with the Cleveland media. Here's a couple of things he said that I want to kind of expand on a little bit, but check this out. Shedeur Sanders finally getting a chance to talk to the Cleveland media after he was drafted in the 5th round.
I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity throughout everything. I don't ever focus on the negative or even think about the negative because the positive happens so fast and, you know, it's a change of emotions. For me, it was just playing quarterback. That's what it's about. You can't be up too low or anything. You got to be able to celebrate. So when we score a touchdown, we celebrate for a little bit. Now it's back to it's time to work, it's time to go. And that's how I view it. That's my personality is I would say, level through adversity and level through everything, any situation I'm faced with, because I know what it's going to require for me to come out on top.
Shedeur Sanders talking to the Cleveland media the day after he was picked in the 5th round of the NFL draft last weekend. A couple of things to note about that. He did make some slight reference to the drama and the adversity that he went through. I'm gonna share a couple of things with you right now that I don't think a lot of people have not heard about. Everybody's been talking about, well, he didn't do well in the meetings and they don't really have some details. But I was watching Colin Cowherd, who is a very good sports talk host on Fox Sports 1. Evidently, he's got somebody in the NFL who is really plugged in. And evidently, somebody he knows must have been either in one of these meetings or both of them or knew somebody who was. But here's a couple of stories I want to share with you about what transpired in a meeting with 2 NFL teams, and the teams are nameless. And I don't think we would even mention them. If I knew them, I wouldn't even want to put it out there like that. But here's some of the stuff that Shedeur was dealing with when he made the rounds during the interviews. Now, I just want to caution you about the process. The NFL draft, they look at this as you're getting a job. And these interviews are just like you going to interview with a Fortune 500 company. You've got to be impressive in these interviews, and because you could talk yourself out of a job. If you have all these skills and experiences and accolades, if you bomb in the interview, you're not going to get hired. So here's something that I heard Colin Cowherd talk about that somebody told him. And I'm sure that he would not put this on the air if this was not true. But here's one scenario that happened in a meeting. Team officials showed some clips of some of Shedeur's worst plays at Colorado. And they do that sometimes. This is not just a Shedeur Sanders thing. This goes on quite a bit. But they kind of put a little tape together showing his worst plays at Colorado. But the idea was they wanted him to explain what he could have done different on these plays. Now, I don't think they were doing it to embarrass him or show him up, but they just wanted to get him to kind of get a feel from him about his leadership and his accountability, that he's not a finished product. So the intent of showing these clips of his bad plays in this meeting, they wanted him to just go through each scenario and just talk about, well, I could have did this better, I could have did that better. Well, Shedeur Sanders refused to do that. He felt uncomfortable talking about the mistakes he made on some of these plays at Colorado. And then he, after the film session didn't go so well, this was the thing he left them with. I might not be a good fit with this team. And you're pretty much talking yourself out of a job when you tell somebody that you're not a good fit to work for somebody. That's kind of hard to digest if you're sitting on the other side of a table and a prospective interviewee tells you that, hey, I might not be a good fit for your organization. So that was one example. Here's another one. A lot of teams in the NFL draft will purposely, on purpose, show or talk about mistakes made by other players. And here the intent is nothing crude about this, nothing underhanded or disrespectful, but the intent of this to show mistakes of other players is to see if the guy you're interviewing, the prospect, the draft prospect, to see if he can catch the mistakes, either on film or in the playbook. So when Sanders didn't catch any of the mistakes that they were showing him to see if he would catch it, one of the coaches in the room called him out and said, well, you know, how come you don't see this? How come you don't recognize this? Again, Sanders backed up and allegedly said that, hey, I'm not comfortable doing this. And he didn't like being challenged like that in that way. So that was another meeting that did not go well. Now, I bring these two things up because NFL teams, they will talk among each other, although they are competitors. They try to get the upper hand on each other as much as possible. But, man, I would imagine those two teams that he had this experience with, this little run-in with, I would bet good money that those two teams told everybody else about it, and that got around. And I don't know when that happened in the pre-draft process or how far back it was before the draft, but it was obvious that there were some teams not really feeling having Shedeur Sanders on their roster. And one other thing about this, I don't know if you heard this, but some other things came out after this as well. But there were several NFL owners who called down into those war rooms and told their people to take his name off their draft board because they didn't want to be bothered with him. After the second or third round, some owners said, let's just scrap this whole thing and move on and pick some other players. I've covered the NFL. I'm a sports writer. I used to cover sports back in Minnesota and Chicago and Phoenix for major newspapers. I put 43 years in on, covering games and making deadlines and working at press box and press conferences and all that. I went to practice and all of it. I covered my share of drafts. I have never heard of an NFL owner making a point to tell his people to take somebody off the board. That has never happened before. These are some of the dynamics that were facing Shedeur Sanders as he was waiting for 2 days, 3 days almost, to get drafted. In his defense, he has a really good chance to be a major player in Cleveland if he goes there and handles his business. And in the words of somebody on ESPN, if he goes there and puts the work in and keep his mouth shut, he has a shot. He has a chance to maybe be the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback. So let's wish him well. It was a lesson for him, a humbling experience for him and his father. But in the end, he got drafted, and he's got a chance of a lifetime that a lot of kids don't get. So from us to Shedeur Sanders, go get him, and good luck, and handle your business. Phone lines open for you right now at 1-800-920-1580, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, some Clippers talk to get to. Unlike the Lakers, they wanted home to stay alive in the NBA playoffs. They've got a major challenge tomorrow. Game 7 tomorrow afternoon in Denver. In for Jill Munroe, I'm Ray Richardson. It's a special mix of sports and entertainment right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I feel so alone. I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like
inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. From support while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, your EDD will help you get there. For more, visit edd.ca.gov.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
Attention to detail, for a full game, however long that game is, whether it's regulation, overtime, but attention to detail. Like Jokic he's just special in the sense of he can score a basketball, but he's more deadlier when he's, playmaking and getting everybody else involved. So it's 1 second that you think you should be helping, or you do help, you'll pay for it. So it's you really got to be, on your P's and locked in on what you're supposed to be doing. And then it's who you're guarding. So, for us, I think understanding what we're doing as a team, and then, individually, limiting our mistakes, because, whatever team can make, the opposite team make the most mistakes, you give yourself a chance to win.
KBLA Talk 1580, where we always have a lot to talk about, broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA, in the heart of Los Angeles. Welcome forward to a special mix of sports and entertainment. In for Jill Munroe, I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580. You just heard the vocals of Clippers guard James Harden talking about what needs to happen for Game 7 tomorrow afternoon in Denver. And he mentioned a key phrase, attention to detail, which is something you don't hear too often about in the NBA, but you've got to do it with these guys. He mentioned Nikola Jokic. Jokic has been averaging a triple-double in this series against the Clippers. He has been a major load to deal with, but I don't think he's I may surprise some folks here, but he's not the main problem for the Clippers tomorrow. They've got to figure out what to do with Jamal Murray tomorrow, because Jamal Murray has been torching the Clippers backcourt the last couple of games. He has been just almost unstoppable. If they let him get going like he did in Game 5, when he torched him with 43 points, they're not going to win that game tomorrow. So they got a tough challenge to get out of Denver, and it's unfortunate that they had to play Game 7 in Denver, because if you remember in Game 4, the Clippers were up late in the fourth quarter and let an offensive rebound get dunked at the buzzer by Aaron Gordon. If that play doesn't happen, Clippers might win that game, and this series might be over already. So they've got to figure out a way to make up for a major blunder like that, to let a team walk off on your court, dunking the ball on an alley-oop desperation shot that Jokic put up. So game time tomorrow is at 4:30 Plan your schedules if you want to show your support for the Clippers. We know this is a Lakers town. Yeah, I know it's a Lakers town. I can hear the people in my ear now. Yeah, it's a Lakers town. But you've got a team that has a chance to make some noise in this postseason. If they can get past Denver tomorrow, they've got a good shot to get to the Western Conference Finals. I think they got a chance to do something against OKC. I really feel like they can challenge them, but getting past Denver tomorrow will not be easy. And I'm sure the NBA would love to see the Clippers survive, because without the Lakers and the Clippers, they are missing a major part of their TV market. Their TV audience will be really diminished without the Lakers and the Clippers. So let's try to get behind them and see if they can pull this out. Tomorrow at 4:30 in Denver, Game 7, Clippers and Denver for the right to move on in the Western Conference playoffs. Hey, coming up in our final segment, we're going to talk some movies and films about, and this is a question for you, a thought for you guys out there. In your opinion, what athlete, pro or college, has made the best transition from the athletic field to film and TV or in the movies? Either one. I got a list of 3 we're going to share with you when we come forward. I'm Ray Richardson, in for Jill Munroe. It's a special mix of sports and entertainment right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We are on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
I want all of America, I want the whole world to see me destroy this man after 2 short rounds. Because after this fight, he's going to have to donate what's going to be left of his body to science, but there won't be much. That I can guarantee.
Rocky, what do you think about the fight taking place in the Spectrum?
Well, I'm very happy about that.
Why?
Well, it's only about 10 minutes from my house.
Apollo, a lot of people say that you lost the first fight, a victim of the southpaw jinx. Did fighting a left-hander throw you off?
Southpaw jinx nothing. Last time I took the fight too lightly and this man was just plain lucky. But this time you all will see the real Apollo Creed. The whole world's gonna see the real Apollo Creed. Lightning fast and hard to catch. No playing, no jiving, just business.
Oh, all right.
Now the party didn't start till I walked in, and I probably won't leave until the thing ends. But in the meantime and in between time, if you work your thing, then I work mine.
KBLA Talk 1580, where we always have a lot to talk about. We're broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA, in the heart of Los Angeles. In for Jill Munroe, I'm Ray Richardson. It's a special mix of sports and entertainment. You heard the legendary vocals of a guy named Carl Weathers in this segment, in our final segment today. And this is in salute of LeBron thinking about retiring. You know, LeBron has been in some movies. He's been in 3 films that I can recall. A film called Smallfoot that he did in 2018. He starred in Space Jam: A New Legacy in 2021, and a movie called Trainwreck he was in back in 2015. You seen these movies? You haven't seen them? Okay. Well, anyway, he's got some film credits. So in light of LeBron sort of giving some thoughts about what his post-career might be, thought it might be a good time to put out some discussion on who you think is the best athlete, who's the best athlete to leave the field and have a pretty good career as an actor in TV or in the movies. I'm going to give you 3 names right quick, and one is should be no debate, at least I don't think it is, but Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is by far the number one guy to make that transition. In case you didn't know, now, Dwayne Johnson was a defensive end and a linebacker at the University of Miami. He played a little bit in college. Matter of fact, played a lot, but he wasn't that good because he didn't get drafted. And talk about draft day drama. He didn't get drafted at all in 1995 when he graduated from Miami. He went to the CFL, the Canadian Football League, and played half a season with the Calgary Stampedes, and they cut him before the season was over. So that sent him packing, and his father had some connections to the WWF, and he helped him get a contract with that league, and the rest is history. And you know how Dwayne Johnson has had a remarkable career. He's done some great movies. One of my favorite movies is actually a sports movie that he did about some kids in a detention center, and he turned them into a football team. And they were guys who were like gangbangers. You know the name of that movie, Andy? I will have to look that up right quick. Anyway, he's done a lot of great movies, and he's a mega millionaire. So Dwayne Johnson is at the top of my list. Number 2 was the guy you just heard, Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers was a linebacker for the Oakland Raiders in 1970 and 1971, and he played 3 seasons in Canada as well with a team called the British Columbia Lions. Now, when Carl Weathers retired in 1974, he was already out here, and he started looking into film work. And, man, he made a tremendous splash and got involved with the Rocky series, and the rest was history. So that's my top 2. And my last one, you might not recognize this name, but the name Fred Dryer. If you're a big-time L.A. Rams fan from back in the day, Fred Dryer was a defensive end for the L.A. Rams. He played 8 of his 13 years in the NFL with the Rams, and he got a chance to get on a TV show called Hunter. If you remember that, he was a TV cop. And by the way, he did a great job on that show because that show lasted 7 years. Now, if you got a show that lasts 7 years out here in Hollywood, that means you're doing something. So congratulations to him. He had a wonderful run and is still doing some acting as well. So Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, Carl Weathers, and Fred Dryer, my 3 top athletes who made the great transition to get into TV and Hollywood and the movie industry. Hey, that's our time. That's the end of regulation. We'll be back maybe to do it all again if they want me. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow on Out of Bounds at 7 o'clock with more sports talk, more flavor for 60 minutes at 7 o'clock. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. And Jill will be back with you on Monday. And thanks to the all-pro work of Handy Andy for the outstanding quality control in the upper room. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Up next, it's the voice of reason. My man, Zoe Williams, he's in the house. He's going to get your relationships in order right here on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Former Michigan officer Christopher Shore says he feared for his life when he shot Patrick Lyoya during a 2022 traffic stop.
I shot him.